प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामनि गौरत्वेषे नमः श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. We are continuing our Bhakti Shastri study of Nectar of Instruction. Yesterday we completed preface, and in preface there was the key word attitude. Progress in the Krishna consciousness or spiritual life depends upon attitude. So what Srila Prabhupada meant by attitude here, there? Yes?
Attitude, realism.
Should be a constitutional attitude of service.
The attitude should be serving attitude. But there what Prabhupada actually meant, the attitude, what is before the attitude and what is after the attitude, what is the theme on which Prabhupada has used the word attitude.
Controlling realistic.
Realistic.
Controlling of senses and mind.
Controlling and sense and mind is a key word. Attitude is based on controlling the mind and senses. Why should we control mind and senses?
Then we become a Goswami.
Because we want to follow Goswami, so we have to become Goswami, therefore we should control mind and senses. If we don't control mind and senses, then what will be our attitude? Enjoying. We are free to enjoy our senses as our mind desires. That attitude is a big hurdle for advancement in spiritual life. What is the greatest benediction Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought for the humanity?
Holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Love of God.
Love of God. What is the exact word in preface?
Signs of Krishna.
Signs of Krishna. Signs of Krishna. And among the activities of Krishna, which is the most exalted activity of Krishna? What? Yugala Priti. What is the actual word? Conjugal loving affairs of gopis and Krishna. What I'm saying, you are studying Prabhupada's book, so you have to use exactly the words used by Srila Prabhupada. Then you can paraphrase, then you can explain, but actually you will be, your numbers depends upon the exact word used from the actual book. How the movement is conducted under supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. The first sentence, The movement is conducted under Srila Rupa Goswami. How?
Supervision of Swami.
Say again? Yes?
Because we are the followers of Rupa Swami.
We are followers of Rupa Goswami, Rupa Naga is okay. More? Yes?
Preaching. Because Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari and
Well, that is okay. Or what are next?
He is the
Leader
leader
of all
of the
Goswamis. He is the leader of all Goswamis.
He is the leader of the all Goswamis. Why?
Because he's the associate of Shiva, dears to Shrimati Radharani's Lalita and Lalita.
That is all right. That is just I gave something insight. What is exactly Prabhupada has written in preface? He gave us the literature by which he is guiding us and directing the movement. So what Srila Prabhupada said, and what the fourth thing which needed is literature given by the Goswamis. He gave the devotional literature, and 2 books we are studying in our Bhakti Shastri are given by Srila Rupa Goswami. So how the movement is conducted under Rupa Goswami? Through his books, Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion and many other books. And this is the way you have to analyze the whole Prabhupada's language in a different angle. Somebody can ask, still the answer is the same. But if you read the preface couple times, then you can really digest it. Okay, we are going to the mantra 1. So yesterday we read this Vacho Vegam, Manasah Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Upastha Vegam, Etana Vegan, Yo Vishaheta Dhira, Sarvan Sapiman, Prithvim Sa, Shishya. So Vega word is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the word Vega is there. And there are 6 Vegas. So first we should know the meaning of Vega. What is Vega? Urges, impulses, some desire which cannot be resisted. Some desire and you want to. I'm simply saying this Vega or urges. Naturally in our body there are some urges every day. Urges to answer call of nature. You cannot stop it. So they are also Vega in one sense. They are also vague, but they should be accepted quickly. So actually this word is not like the vague word is very, it has many meaning at the level of, when you speak vague, it may have one meaning, but when context it may have a different meaning. So here vague of vacho means speaking. And manasa means mind, and krodh means anger. Jiva means tongue. So, why there is a vacho and jiva separately? Tongue is speaking as well as tasting. So, when tongue is speaking, which type of sense organ is tongue? And when tongue is tasting, which type of sense organ is tongue?
One is Gyanendriya and another is Karmendriya.
Which is Gyanendriya and which is Karmendriya?
Gyanendriya and tasting is Karmendriya.
So say again?
Gyanendriya is tongue and
Yeah.
First there are two set of senses, knowledge acquiring senses and working senses. There are 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Eyes, we acquire the knowledge of form. Ears, we acquire the knowledge of word sound. Nose, we acquire the knowledge of fragrance. Tongue, we acquire the knowledge of taste. So taste is a Gyan Indri or knowledge acquiring sense. And then the skin, acquiring the knowledge of texture. And 5 Karma Indriya are the working senses. What are the 5 working senses? 2 legs, 2 arms. Then excretely both organs. And the last one is again tongue. Speaking. Talking is working senses. Talk is a work. So working senses and knowledge acquiring senses. So 5 each. Okay? So Jiva Vegam, which means actually controlling the tongue when it is acting as a knowledge acquiring sense, means not greedy for tasty foods. Then is upastha. There is udar and upastha. Udar. Can somebody, you have some word, this udar in your nama, common sense, when time you use some word in which the word udar is there? Damodar. What is the meaning of Damodar? Dam means rope and udar means belly. Right? So udar veg means veg of the stomach. It means hunger. Technically it means hunger. And upast is the genitals. So these are the 6 vegas or urges. And then etan vegan means all these 6. Yo means anybody. Vishaheta dhira, one who vishaheta, one who controls, one who masters. When these 6 urges are under his control. Sarvan apiman prithvim, all over the world. Sasishyat, he can make disciples. So this verse is in one line, Guru principle. The Guru may be from any country, he may be from any background, he may be from Brahman or any other Varna, but if he has 6 these urges controlled, then he is only qualified to be Guru. So this is a Guru principle. And now the translation is very simple. You can see the translation. A sober person, dhira. So word dhira means sober person. This word dhira came again and again in your Isha Upanishad. This dhira word is in your Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, dhiras tatra namoyate. So this dhira word is a common word for sober people, enlightened people, learned people, wise people. So there is a word dhira. Generally, dhira means those who are not agitated by the demands of the senses. Not agitated by the demands of the senses. They are called dhira. Who can tolerate Etan vegan yo vishahe, to tolerate. Urges to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of the anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Now, this is the simple, every time we repeat this, the first verse is self-control madhyam adhikari symptom. Self-control, this guru principle is a very simple word. And the next verses which we'll discuss, there is the Madhyam Adhikari Goswami's external dealing and bhakti rules. Now, concept of Vega. Spiritual term, words spoken by mouth, it is called Vega, urges or desire. Words having concept in mind, which means vague concept, vague as a concept, urgent desires which comes as a wave or force. So, the one is at the level of words and one is at the level of mind. So, the say example is given next. The term energy is the same word spoken by mouth but carries different concept based on the context. I have lost energy. I am completely tired. Or the energy failure. Now the energy word is same, but the meaning is completely different. Energy failure means power failure. So energy is like a word which can have a different meaning depending upon concept. So similarly, the Vega has a different meaning according to concept. For example, Vega is a urge. But what kind of urge? These are urgent desires which the mind immediately wants to fulfill through the senses. For example, when you are going towards Banke Bihari in that street, they have these some special fry items they are frying, they are putting ghee, and smell comes and you have a desire to immediately taste that. Typically, samosa frying somewhere, the smell comes and this fragrance will, it urges you to go and take it, right? This is what it means. Once our one cousin brother, he was sent up on the top to fix something on the top, and down in the kitchen, the halwa was somebody was making halwa. So he came back, he said, well, I cannot do this job because I'm really, the smell has dragged me down. I want to first taste and then go up. So this is what it means, the immediate desire which needs to be fulfilled. So this is the normal urges are like hunger at a regular time of the day. They are also urges. Thirst. And Ayurveda mentioned that certain urges have to be immediately acted upon, like one has to answer call of nature. These are also urges. So urges has a different concept. So here the urges are the demand. Actually here what is the urges? Concept, not word. In our text, the urges is a concept, not a word. Therefore you read the last line. One urge of the mind is analyzed and classified into 6 urges. It means these are the concept in the mind to fulfill the desires of mind through senses. So what are these 6 urges? Vacho Vegam, Manasa Vegam, Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Vegam, Upastha Vegam. Okay? Now, after this, now in your book, Verse 1, purport has 4 divisions. If you have your own book, you have your book with me, right? You got it? Whose book is this? So I need some other book. In your own book, you have to write this thing for your future. Maybe after 10 years, if you open book, you will forget this. The first and second paragraph is discussing atonement. These 2 paragraphs, they are discussing atonement. And what is the Sanskrit term for atonement? Prayaschit, okay? The paragraph 3 to 8, they describe the 6 urges and pacification by bhakti. How can we control those urges through bhakti? And the 9 to 19, almost 10 paragraph, is Anuvrti explanation, means commentary by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. Anuvrti. Anuvrti is a name of the commentary on Nectar of Instruction by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. And the last paragraph, number 20, is conclusion. So if on your book, if you have this marking, anytime if you use your book, it will be very clear what is the topic there. Srila Prabhupada started the commentary with simply in Bhagavatam, 6th canto, many questions asked by Parikshit Maharaj, very intelligent, and one of the question is, what is atonement? Then he was not satisfied by the answer. Ultimately, in your book you have to find out what is actual atonement. And then next line. What is actual atonement, which is on the next page you find out in your book. Then we'll discuss what is it. What is actual atonement? This is in the last line of the page. And it goes to the next page. You found this?
Real atonement involves coming to real knowledge.
The real atonement is to come to the real knowledge.
And for that is a standard process.
That is a standard process. Ultimately, the end of the paragraph, this same paragraph, you will find under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master. Is there? You find that line? The end of the same paragraph.
By engaging in service of the Supreme Lord under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master.
So ultimately, if you see, the whole why Prabhupada has started the purport with atonement. What the atonement has to do with this? So, how Prabhupada started purport like that? Why? Sorry? Yeah, atonement is to have the real knowledge, methodically, and how the real knowledge or transcendental knowledge is received through the medium of spiritual master. So ultimately, the whole 2 pages are focused that through spiritual master we can have real atonement. Yeah, this whole section you have to read. But before that, just see this. Now look up. Can you read something here? conception of bhakti and control of mind and senses. And this verse quoted is the verse in your Bhagavad Gita, purport of Sarva Dharman Parityaja. This verse is in Bhagavad Gita. These are the 6 angas of surrender, 6 limbs of surrender. Anukulya Sankalpa is number 1. Pratikulya Varjanam number 2. Rakshasti iti Vishwaso number 3. Goptritve Varnam Tatha number 4. Atma Nikshep Karpanya. So what is number, this number 5 is Goptritve Varnam Tatha. Atma Nikshep Karpanya. Shadvidha Sharanagati. Accepting favorable number 1. Rejecting unfavorable number 2. Confidence that Krishna will grant his protection number 3. Embracing Krishna's guardianship number 4. Fully offering oneself number 5. Atam Nikshep. And humility are the 6 limbs of surrender. So to whom to surrender? To Krishna through the spiritual master. So the concept of bhakti is, if we want to control the mind and senses, which is the attitude needed. And for that, we have to surrender to Krishna through spiritual master. So is it clear? And then the next verse, Chayvega Sahi Yukta Vairagya Ashray Nama Prada Shonyai Haibe Nirbhay. This is it. Those who tolerate these 6 urges in the shelter of a proper renunciation will without fear become free from the offenses to the name. So it means for our, how can we apply this mantra in our practice? If we really want to be free from offenses to the holy name, then we have to tolerate the 6 urges. So this is the practical application of this verse for us. Not as a spiritual master, but as a sadhakas or practicing devotees. Chhay vega sahi, sahi means tolerate. 6 urges to tolerate. Yukta vairagya ashraya, by taking the shelter of yukta vairagya. This yukta vairagya word has not yet come in your terminology. This is the nectar of devotion, yukta vairagya and phalgu vairagya. There is a true vairagya is called yukta vairagya, and there is a markat or phalgu vairagya, false vairagya. So yukta vairagya is use everything useful for Krishna and give up everything which is not useful for Krishna. That is yukta vairagya. Name aparad shunya haiba nirbhay. Then we will be free from the offenses to the holy name and fearlessness. So this is for our personal application. Now, this is something which you will learn in Nectar of Devotion. Hellish suffering. Why somebody is suffering? Because of sin. Why somebody sin? Because uncontrolled senses. Why the senses are not controlled? Because he is ignorant. Avidya means ignorance is the root cause. Now you apply the real atonement sentence. What is the real atonement? Now you read now. What is the real atonement? In your book, find out. Real attainment is coming to real knowledge. It means we should be free from ignorance. See here, avidya? Avidya means ignorance. So ignorance is the root cause for all sins. So real attainment is coming to the real knowledge, which means to be free from the ignorance. And then we will have controlled senses that will not do sin, therefore will not suffer. Now, Prabhupada has written this in our book. 4 types of intelligent persons. In our book, you can find these 4 types. Those who learn by hearing, they are the best. Those who learn by seeing, number 2. Number 3, those who learn by experience. And the number 3 and 4th and useless is those who don't learn even after experience. This is Prabhupada's purport.
Then why it is put in that intelligent persons category?
Prabhupada has written there are 4 types of intelligence. Highest intelligence is you hear and I hear. Prabhupada gave example like the thief hears. A person hears that if I steal somebody, then I will be caught by police and punished. So by hearing, he never indulged in stealing. The other person seeing. After hearing, he's not. But he saw somebody stole something and is punished by police, so he don't want to do it. The third person, once he stole, he was in a prison, he suffered. So then he said, I will don't do it again. And the 4th and useless is one, he did it, he suffered and he again do. Why Prabhupada has put this? Because this is the way people do prasyat. They know what I am doing. Can you find this in your book? Where is this written? Which page? Better you bring your books. This is good for your reference, but book is better to really write something. I may have somewhere my books in which everything is noted. I don't know where it is now. I need some book. The office has to provide why there is no book here. So find out this in your Prabhupada's purpose. Where there is a thief. Can you find this? This is the first 2 paragraphs. Found it?
Yes.
Read this.
A less intelligent person may first have to be arrested and punished for stealing to learn to stop stealing. However, a rascal, a foolish man may have the experience of both hearing and seeing and may even be punished, but he continues to steal.
There's a number 4. Is it okay? This is in our book, which is put here to make it clear who is the best among the 4. The first. Hears stealing is offense, I should not do it. Then the real attainment involves coming to the real knowledge. This is the language in our book, right? After that, Srila Prabhupada has used 7 different words for a person coming to the knowledge, which is from the Bhagavatam. By practicing austerity and celibacy, brahmacharya. Number 2, by controlling the mind. Number 3, controlling senses. Number 4, by giving up one's possessions in charity. Number 5, by being, what is the word there? What is it? By being Outwardly truthful. By 6, by keeping clean, socham. And by 7, by practicing yogasana. But this is not for us. This is for the jnanis and yogis. Therefore, however, if one is fortunate enough to get the association of pure devotee, and who is the pure devotee? One who controls the 6 urges. The one who controls the 6 urges is a pure devotee. He can easily surpass all the practices for controlling the mind by mystic yoga process simply by following the regulative principle of Krishna consciousness. What are they? 4. 4 process, principle, illicit sex and all this. Okay? No intoxication, no gambling. And by engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord under the direction of bona fide spiritual master. This easy process is being recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. So real attainment is coming to the knowledge, though the other people may acquire knowledge by the other 7 processes, but the devotees acquire knowledge by abstaining from the 4 sinful activities and engaging in active devotional service under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master. And that is recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. Now, based on this atonement, this is some chart which is on the screen now. In our purport, there is an example of thief. There is an example of bathing of an elephant, and there is a confessing of sin in the church. All 3 are in our book. You found it? They are all coming under the heading of Karma Kanda. Then the 7 other things which we have put here, they are coming under Jnana Kand, knowledge section. Karma Kand means ritual section, ritualistic section. Jnana Kand means knowledge section. So cleanliness is socham. Are these examples in our book further? No, they are from Bhagavatam. Socham. Cleanliness, you have to clean every day. You have to take bath every day. So it's a regular process. What is dried bamboo leaves? Venu Gulam. What is, anybody has any idea what is this?
They are useless, like the dried bamboo leaves, they once that says they rub each other and there's fire something like that.
Okay, therefore, the point is, well, it's by knowledge, by tapasya, you can burn the propensity to sin. But still the seed is there. So when bamboo is burned from the top, still root is there. By next rain, it will be more thick bamboo coming out. So generally the bamboo, farmers, they burn the bamboo because this is thin bamboo. But the root next time comes out will become big and thick bamboo. So it's like that, and the example is like a Jamil. He was doing tapasya, he was doing austerity, he was doing yajna, he was doing anything, everything. But from outside he was clean, but inside the desire was there. As soon as he saw that prostitute embracing that rascal, his dormant desire came out. So that is the example of dried bamboo leaves. And then liquor bottle, if you wash your liquor bottle with the liquor, will it be clean? No. This is something These are from Bhagavatam, some examples.
Yes.
And Bhakti, example is sun and fog. This is a verse in Bhagavatam. 6th canto, this is a verse. Niharam eva. Nihara means fog. So there's a fog, you can't see anything in December here in Vrindavan. But as soon as sun comes, everything evaporates, everything is clear, there's no trace of anything. So by bhakti, attainment is complete. Avidya is also destroyed. So other processes are not destroying the avidya. Bhakti destroy avidya also. This again you will study in Nectar of Devotion under the heading Klesha Ghani. The characteristic of the sadhan bhakti. When we do sadhan bhakti, all these sufferings disappear. So this praschit and karma kand is like a thief stealing and again going for stealing, punished again going for. So it's like that. We do some good, we go to the heaven, come back. It's like going and coming. Bathing of the elephant is very common. This verse is given by Srila Prabhupada in our purport from 7th canto. Can you see this verse? The verse is there. Okay? So what we are discussing is praschit and karma kand, praschit and gyan kand, and real knowledge is like sun. Krishna hai surya saman, maya hai andhakar. So Krishna, jahan Krishna ta maya nahi adhikar. So when Krishna comes, the fog of maya disappears. This is okay? Now we are going to the paragraph 3 to 8. Our 2 paragraphs are over, first and second. We have finished the paragraph number 1 and paragraph number 2. Is it okay? Anybody has any question? Now, if I go here, somebody can read these 3 words and tell me the meaning. What does Rupanuga means? Followers of Rupa Goswami. And Priyaschit means? Atonement. And Goswami means? Master of senses. Purpose of Shri Ishna Upanishad or Shri Upadeshamrit? We have discussed 4 points yesterday. Now overview is okay, this you have done, okay. Goswami, this is some exercise you should do among yourself when you have free time. Pair discussion means 2 together discuss with a partner, read this section from text 1 purport that describe praschit. It means first and second paragraph. The meaning of the term praschit, the analogy used in Srimad Bhagavatam by Parikshit Maharaj, describe real atonement, provides supporting evidence from nectar of devotion, which you have not studied yet. But we have given you as a small chart earlier, that is from nectar of devotion. So this is the little exercise you have to do. Are you ready to do sometime? So in pairs you can do this exercise, read this. What you have to discuss? The meaning of term praschit. What is praschit? Analogy used in Srimad Bhagavatam by Parikshit Maharaj. That is exactly the elephant bathing. Then describe real attainment, which means real, coming to the real knowledge. Supporting evidence from nectar of devotion. It means there are different type of attainment. What is from nectar of devotion actually is avidya, uncontrolled senses, sin, suffering. So, all these stages, you can be free from suffering by some karma kand. If you do some puja, you can be free from suffering, but still you can do sin. Like if people go in church on Sunday, confess, and next day come out and do same thing. Then the next is uncontrolled senses. So you can do tapasya to control senses, you can do yoga to control senses, but still the ignorance is there. So still there is a possibility, like Ajamil, who has a controlled senses is a Brahman, but he has a avidya inside, which so ultimately the avidya can be cleared by the other example of Niharam eva Bhaskar. The Bhaskar means sun, Nihar means fog. There is a verse from Bhagavatam. Who is really, who has a time and who really want to read, go to the 6th canto of Bhagavatam, find out the different verses there which Srila Prabhupada really wants us to understand. Niharami Bhaskar, where is this verse in Bhagavatam? Find out this verse. And Gulam, that verse is also there. Gulam means bamboo. So find out these two verses, that will be more deeper study of this subject.
Sorry, first.
First one, Nihara.
Bhaskar, Niharam eva Bhaskara. Niharam means fog, eva means like, Bhaskar means sun. So bhakti is a process by which Krishna's sun appears in our life and all the fog of Maya disappears. From avidya down to the suffering, everything, all stages are cleared by bhakti only. And really you want to know more about this, then as asked in this pair exercise, go and read the 2-3 pages in Nectar of Devotion under the topic Klesha Ghani. Under the topic Klesha Ghani, or the word used for Klesha. Klesha means suffering. Ghani means one. Devotional service destroy all suffering. Okay. Now we are going to the next paragraph, number 3. 6 Vegas. This we know. Now, first, before we go to the Vegas, we just discuss some principle. Why this verse is important for leaders, guru to apply this verse. It's important for all leaders. Yadyad acharti sreshta. So those who are leaders, they must follow this verse in their life. Is this verse only meant to be applied by leaders or gurus? No, everybody has to apply this. Because che veg sahi nam aprad sunye. So we also need this. To be free from the offenses to the holy name, we should also do that. How can you apply this verse in your own life? So this is something, the 3 things about this verse. Why it is important for the leaders? Does it only apply to leaders? How can we apply in our life? This is something we know. Now, this lesson has this objective. You just keep this in mind, that we are going back to the lesson. By the end of the lesson means by the end we finish the verse, preface and verse 1. You must be able to understand Understanding, you must have this understanding. Explain the meaning of the key terms from Sri Ishopanishad text 1. Explain the purpose of Sri Ishopanishad. Describe the brief overview of Sri Ishopanishad, which means first 7 verses is Sadhan Bhakti, 8 verses. This is here. First 7 Vedi Sadhan Bhakti, 8 Raganuva Sadhan Bhakti, 9 to 11 Bhav and Prem Bhakti. This is another way to look at this. First 7 Shraddha Ruchi. Do you know all these words? Is there notice board? Tomorrow write down a list of the words. So number 1 Shraddha. Write down on in your book. Number 1 Shraddha, which means faith. Number 2 Sadhu Sangha, means association of devotee. Number 3 Bhajan Kriya, which means taking initiation. Number 4 is Anarth Nivarti, which means getting free from the aprada, offenses. Number 5 is Nishtha, getting fixed in devotion. Number 6 is Ruchi, which means taste. Number 8 is Asakti, which means attachment. No, you are lost somewhere? Number 1 faith. Number 2 association of devotee. Number 3 initiation. Number 4 Anarth Nivarti, free from offenses. Number 5 Nishtha. Number 6 Ruchi. No?
Number 6 is Ruchi.
6 Ruchi? Adha Shraddha Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anarth Nivarti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti. Okay. And then Asakti, and number 7, Bhav, and 8 Prem. I think they are 9. They are 9. So what is missing? Ado Shraddha Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anarth Nivarti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, and Prem. Yeah. So these are the stages. So text 1 to 7 is Shraddha to Ruchi. And number 8 is Asakti. 9 and 11 are Bhav and Prem. This is an overview of the Ishopanishad. Explain the purpose of Ishwar. Personal application. Discuss how a study of Upanishad could help to improve our attitude to Krishna consciousness. Attitude to Krishna consciousness from preface. Okay? So this is something. Preaching application. Describe the qualification of a guru qualified to make disciples all over the world. One who controls the 6 arches. Mood and mission. Describe the importance of Srila Rupa Goswami in the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Explain how the Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. So these things you must understand by the time we finish. We have finished already preface. And now we are discussing verse 1. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now we are going back again to our old slide. Here we are. Control of speech, number 1. So in our purport, the speech, uncontrolled speech, negative aspect. Materialistic talk and Mayavadis An example or analogy given in our book is croaking of a frog. And snake comes and finish the frog. So such talking is useless. The neutral aspect, silence, external process of mauna, keeping silence, Mayavadi philosophers. Controlled speech, positive aspect, Krishna Katha. Who does that? Devotees. They self-control speech. So this is the, now you read the first paragraph. Take the microphone, read the first paragraph, how to control the speech. All these aspects are in that. Yes, microphone. You read the paragraph number 3. Who is, okay.
First, one must control his speaking power. Everyone of us has the power of speech. As soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak. If we do not speak about Krishna consciousness, we speak about all sorts of nonsense. A toad in a field speaks by croaking.
Go ahead.
A toad in a field speaks by croaking, and similarly, everyone who has a tongue wants to speak, even if all he has to
Microphone.
say is nonsense.
Just use it.
The croaking of the toad, however, simply invites the snake. Please come here and eat me. Nevertheless, although it is inviting death, the toad goes on croaking. The talking of materialistic men and impersonalist Mayavadi philosophers may be compared to the croaking of frogs. They are always speaking nonsense and thus inviting death to catch them. Controlling speech, however, does not mean self-imposed silence, the external process of mauna. As Mayavadi philosophers think, silence may appear helpful for some time, but ultimately it proves a failure. The meaning of controlled speech conveyed by Srila Rupa Goswami advocates the positive process of Krishna Katha. Engaging the speaking process in glorifying the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. The tongue can thus glorify the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Lord. The preacher of Krishna Katha is always beyond the touches of death. This is the significance of controlling the urge to speak.
Okay, speech is over. Now you look at the slide. Is everything covered in this or not?
Yes.
What is on the whole? 1/3 of a page is in 3 words here. Everything is covered here or not?
Yes.
Uncontrolled speech, negative aspect, Mayavadi speak, materialistic speak, analogy, frog and snake. The first portion. Second is keeping mourn by Mayavad is the external. Then the positive aspect, Krishna Katha. All that Katha means form, name, everything. So this everything is within these 3 categories. Is it okay? Now next is to control the mind. And for controlling mind, Srila Prabhupada has used the analogy of the sun and darkness. So Maya or darkness, what is that? Material thoughts, number 1, and vacuum, number 2, uncontrolled mind. While on the other side, Krishna is sun, controlled mind. Now you read what Srila Prabhupada give to some other devotee. I have to remember your names. Yes.
The next paragraph, Prabhuji?
Yes.
The restlessness or fickleness of the mind, manoveg, is controlled when one can fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22:31 says, Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hai andhakar, yahan Krishna tahan nahi Maya adhikar. Krishna is just like the sun and Maya is just like darkness. If the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Similarly, if Krishna is present in the mind, there is no possibility of the minds being agitated by Maya's influence. The yogic process of negating all material thoughts will not help. To try to create a vacuum in the mind is artificial. The vacuum will not remain. However, if one always thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, one's mind will naturally be controlled.
So what is the first sentence is? To control mind is to always think of lotus feet of Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada is writing this line, what is in it, which verse or which line is in his mind? Mana Krishna Padara Vindayor. Mana Krishna Padara Vindayor. The Ambrish Maharaj always thought of lotus feet of Krishna. That's the first line Prabhupada has used. Then Srila Prabhupada used Maya is ignorance which creates material thought and vacuum. Vacuum for the Mayavadis and yogis. The yogis are vacuum and Mayavadis, they have material thoughts. They want to negate that. But on the other side, those who think of Krishna Katha, when you read the nectar of devotion, their mind control, Prabhupada has written 2 lines for mind control. He said mind can be, the culture of mind control, Prabhupada used the word culture of mind control. He says to engage mind in the pastime of Krishna and Kurukshetra, which means to study Bhagavad Gita. And culture of mind control is to think of Krishna's activities in Vrindavan, which means Bhagavatam. So in Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada has given the more insight how to control mind is by always engaging in the discussion of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So mind is over. Now we are going to the anger. Controlled anger. Controlling of the anger, becoming angry with those who blaspheme the Lord and the devotees of the Lord. So anger can be utilized by devotees, and there are 3 examples given in our purpose. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became angry on Jagai and Madhai. Hanuman, he burnt the Lanka, and Arjun became angry and then he fought. So the right use of anger is to use anger those who are blasphemer for the Lord or his devotees. This is, you give the microphone to the next and read this. Now read the urges of the anger. Yes.
Similarly, anger can be controlled. We cannot stop anger altogether. But if we simply become angry with those who blaspheme the Lord or the devotees of the Lord, we control our anger in Krishna consciousness. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became angry with the miscreants' brother Jagai and Madai, who blasphemed and struck Nityananda Prabhu. In his 6th Ashtaka, Lord Chaitanya wrote, Tinadapi Sunechana Tarorapi Sahishana. One should be humbler than the grass and more tolerant than a tree. One may there ask why the Lord exhibited his anger. The point is that one should be ready to tolerate all insults on one's own self. But when Krishna or his pure devotee is blasphemed, a genuine devotee may become angry and act like a fire against the offenders. Krodha, anger, cannot be stopped, but it can be applied rightly. It was in the anger that Hanuman set fire to Lanka, but he is worshipped as the greatest devotee of Lord Ramchandra. This means that he utilized his anger in the right way. Arjuna serves as another example. He was not willing to fight, but Krishna incited his anger. You must fight. To fight without anger is not possible. Anger is controlled, however, when utilized in the service of the Lord.
See, here everything is there in anger very simply. Controlling anger, using anger in the service of Lord and devotees when they are offended. And there are 3 examples. Now I have one question. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Trinanapi Sunichana, be humbler than blade of grass, why he himself become angry? Prabhupada raised this question. So what is your answer? On the one hand, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, be tolerant more than a tree and be humble more than a blade and a grass. Blade of grass in a street. Then why he become angry?
Because Prabhupada himself writes there in the Bhagavad that there is no fight without anger.
Well, why he become angry?
There is something written that Krodha Bhakta Dveshi Jane. You need to expose your anger to the Dveshis of the devotee who offend the devotees.
The principle is that somebody offend you, you should never become angry and be tolerant. But somebody is offending the Lord or his devotee, then you should not keep quiet. You must use the anger in the service of the Lord or his devotee. For oneself, don't become angry.
If it's between devotees, what do you do then?
Among the devotees, generally devotees who are under the influence of ignorance, they fight. The devotees who are under the influence of passion, they are greedy. But those who are in mode of goodness, they are more sober. So it is better we should associate with the devotees who are in mode of goodness and avoid humbly those who are in mode of ignorance and passion. This is in Bhagavatam 3rd canto. Urges of the tongue and belly. They all 3 in one line. Tongue, belly and genital, they are in one line. Simply you control the tongue, the other 2 are automatically controlled. You control the tongue, the belly and genitals are automatically controlled. They are in one line. Controlling tongue and belly, only taking Krishna Prasad. If you only take Krishna Prasad, they are automatically controlled. Controlling genitals, begetting Krishna conscious children. A very simple one-line answer. Now before, I think today we may start, may not start. Okay, now you read these 2 more, just what we have discussed, you read these 2 more paragraphs. Yes, Prabhu.
In a similar manner.
Urges of tongue, you read the urges of the tongue.
As for the urges of the tongue, we all experience that the tongue wants to eat palatable dishes. Generally, we should not allow the tongue to eat a oil to its choice, but should control the tongue by supplying prasad. The devotee's attitude is that he will eat only when Krishna gives him prasad. That is the way to control the urge of the tongue. One should take prasad at scheduled times and should not eat in restaurants or sweetmeat shops, simply to satisfy the whims of the tongue or belly. If we stick to the principle of taking away prasad, the urges of belly and tongue can be controlled.
So now this is something is for your personal application. Are we only honoring prasad? Are we eating something which is available as a vegetarian food anywhere and everywhere? eating only prasad. So you can perform some drama in which you show that how to eat only prasad and how to cheat oneself that I'm eating prasad, but it is not prasad. And how Srila Prabhupada was at old age cooking himself his own prasad and not eating it at any other places. So, eat only prasad. This is a topic here. Because to control tongue is most important for our progress in Krishna consciousness. So belly and tongue can be controlled by only eating prasad. So is there somebody who can have a small drama? Both aspect, real prasad aspect and fake prasad aspect.
One more and more.
Huh?
One more and more.
One more?
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, so you two group, one should be speaking of the true prasad and some stories and something, and some is a fake prasad. I'm coming on, going to the Vrindavan, okay, this is,
Right now.
Haldiram has a good, yes, buy Haldiram samosa, okay, this is prasad. So really, this is a deep meaning of what, and this is the first handwritten instruction by Prabhupada in 26th Avenue. All initiated devotees should only eat prasad. So this is the first instruction, and it's still not really followed by majority. So you think about this and present something tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next time on Tuesday when we meet. Okay? Now somebody should read the urges of the genitive. Give the microphone to somebody. Let everybody hear. So we have completed paragraph up till 8. This is a paragraph number 8 we are reading.
In a similar manner, the urges of the genitals, the sex impulse, can be controlled when not used unnecessarily. The genitals should be used to beget a Krishna-conscious child. Otherwise, they should not be used. The Krishna consciousness movement encourages marriage, not for the satisfaction of the genitals, but for the begetting of Krishna-conscious children. As soon as the children are little grown up, they are sent to our Gurukul school in Dallas, Texas, where they are trained to become fully Krishna-conscious devotees. Many such Krishna-conscious children are required, and one who is capable of bringing forth Krishna-conscious offspring is allowed to utilize his genitals.
So, well, how can you give evidence from Bhagavad Gita? How much Bhagavad Gita you have finished by now?
Fourth chapter.
Fourth chapter. No, it is in a... Yes?
Prajanashtasmi Gandarpa. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Prajanashtasmi Gandarpa.
Prajasna Chapmi Kandrapa. Oh, that is in a 10th chapter.
He says, I'm the last.
I am the last among the... That is used for progeny. Some other words?
I am the sex like
Dharma vido bhuteshu kamo asi vartacha. So Bhagavad Gita says these two things. And further Srila Prabhupada writes on this topic in Yajna Tapa Karamana Tyajit in chapter 18. So then Yajna Prabhupada said, well, the marriage is a Yajna, I am a sannyasi, I am performing Yajna because that should never be given up. So marriage is meant for the Krishna conscious children. That's what is based on the evidence from Bhagavad Gita and other places also. Yes, you must be prepared to answer. Now after that verse, paragraph 9, Anuvriti explanation. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj divide these 6 urges. Number 1, urge to speak. Number 2, urges of the mind. He says urges of the mind are urge of the mind and urge of the anger. Then he says the demands of the body, which is divided into 3. Demand of the tongue, demand of the belly, and demand of the genitals. So he has classified these 6 urges into urge of the speak, urge of the mind, which is of 2 types, and then urge of the body. Well, this is a common terminology, body, mind and words. Body, mind and words. So bhakti is practiced by these 3. Sadhan bhakti is practiced by body, words and mind. And when sannyasi is given a 3 danda, 3 rods, which also signifies to control body, mind and words in service of Krishna. Now you use this word body, mind and words, short term, what it will be? BMW. So BMW, body, mind and words. So this way, the 6 urges are classified by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Urges to speak, he has given a big list. 2 things. Urges to speak is talking and literature. It means using, reading useless literature is also urges of the tongue. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami has said, urges of the tongue is in 2. One is talking, other is literature. Now urges of tongue divides useless, nonsensical talk, and under this heading there are 3: materialistic people, karmakandi and mayavadi. And on the other hand, Krishna Katha, proper control of urge of the speech. So this is the Anuvriti explanation for the speak. Control of mind. Anuvriti, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, Avirodha, Priti and Virodha, Yukta, Krodha. Avirodha, Priti, unrestricted attachment, which is of 3 types. Adherence to the philosophy of Mayavad, belief in fruitive results of the karma kandis, belief in plan based on materialistic desires. This is what we have done. Vacuum in the mind or materialistic thought. This was Prabhupada's commentary. Here we have 3 things. Mayavad philosophy, karmakandi results and materialistic desires. And Vrodha Yukta Krodha, anger arising from frustration. So, mind has these problems. Demands of the body, urges of the tongue, urges of the belly, urges of the genitals, controlled by eating prasad. All 3 in one line. Now this is in our book. The 6 kind of rasas, means taste, by which Maya Devi, which means material energy, control the urges of the tongue. It means how we are entangled by 6 types of taste. Number 1, tamasic food in the mode of ignorance, meat, fish, egg. Food in the mode of passion, chili and tamarind. South Indians will be angry. Food in the mode of goodness, spinach milk. Use of pan, haritaki, betel nuts, etc. Receiving palatable foods at rich man's house. Taking food only for the taste of the tongue, even Mahaprasad. Even Mahaprasad, just for the taste. If I give you current of Mahaprasad, no. Rasgulla, yes. Mahaprasad is Mahaprasad. So this is in our book. You find out the 6 rasas by which Maya control the jivas. So control of the tongue. Eating for the satisfaction of the tongue demands veg or non-veg to be given up. Only by accepting Krishna Prasad, accept the Prasad only because of its palatable taste, eating too much to be given up. Urges of the tongue can be controlled. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati writes, belly urges of the belly, eating more than necessary, observing fasting on special days. Restrain the demands of the body. So fasting and eating in moderation. Urges of the genital, illicit sex, forbidden, only for the satisfaction of the lust. And there are whole group here. These are the different ways of thinking, planning, talking, actually having, using urges or the genitals, and artificial method. All these are forbidden. The 3 are subtle to grasp. You from the subtle is thinking, then higher than that is planning, then talking is more grasp, and then grossest. The legal recommended is begetting the children after marriage, and that is the control. So they are called the 5 type of subtle sex. Here we end our first verse as such. Now what we can do is 10 minutes we have. You have any question? Or else yes. And then you should read this yourself, whole purport. And next time I will ask you a question and you bring your questions. What is not clear to you. And any question of the question bank from verse text 1 you should answer in these 2-3 days. So if you do it today, you can be able to write more right things. If you do it after 2 days, you will miss many things. So better you finish it by tomorrow. That will be better for you to control this. So now, what can we do? I can answer your questions, okay? How to take this out now? All right, what is your question?
We see they focus on the tongue and the speak, but there are demand to see, demand to hear. Why that is not included when and specifically why only the particular sense?
Ultimately, these are all the urges of the mind. So, particularly the tongue is the one sense which has two functions, which is more jive, sarira vidya jal jadandre toekal jive plebiscite sagar. This tongue is most voracious. Well, eyes has to be controlled. Ear also has to be controlled. We should not hear the blasphemy or some bad thing about the other devotees, and eyes should not see the bad things. That's also there. They are coming under the mind control. But the tongue is separate because it's more voracious than others. Talking and tasting is mostly double action, so tongue is utilized here by Rupa Goswami. But the all senses are included actually. When we say mind, then the mind is working through senses. So all sense and mind control is included. But still the urges of these three are more. These are the urges which we have to satisfy ourselves. For hearing, we have to go to hear, listen to somebody else. For seeing something, we have to go somewhere. But these are something which is only connected to us only. So we have to control. For that other things, you have to use something else also. I'm thinking, if you want to listen something, you have to go to somebody else to listen. But you have to see yourself. You have to talk. So talking is like a frog so many times, so many people talking nonsense all day. That is useless. Only Krishna Katha or keep quiet. These all senses needs to be controlled, but here Rupa Goswami has 6 urges. He has selected 6 urges which are most important for the elevated devotees, at least Madhyama Adhikari. What is your question, Prabhu? No. Yes?
So you referred, Prabhu, that the devotees who we consider as mode of passion or ignorance, we should avoid association with those. Like if we try to avoid that, wouldn't that be a Vaishnava Prad? Like they feel bad?
Sound is not, I'm not able to hear.
So my question, Prabhu, is like you said that the devotees who are in the mode of ignorance and passion, we should stop avoiding their association, we avoid their association. But what if they feel bad, and wouldn't it be considered as Vaishnava Aparadha?
Is Vaishnava Aparadha means what? What is that?
Like wouldn't, like if we try avoiding some devotee who are still at a mode of passion or ignorance, and if we avoid them, wouldn't it will be considered as Vaishnava Aparadha?
No. Vaishnava Aparadha is if we offend somebody, we are just keeping ourselves separate away from them simply to avoid offense. It is just to avoid offense we are not associating with them. So, well, this is in 3rd canto of Bhagavatam, 3 modes influencing devotees and how we should behave. But also in the act of devotion, in the coming verses, it's not that we should deal with our devotees at the same level. It's not a blanket rule. We have to respect some from a distance. We can pay obeisance to some, but we can only associate with only some, not with all. So it's not that all devotees should be treated equally. Rupa Goswami will speak by the verse 4 and 5. Hare Krishna, yes.
It said by tolerating the urges, that is taking Utta Vairagya, you'll be free from offense to the holy name. I heard it that is it, right?
What say again?
By tolerating urges, that is by taking Utta Vairagya, we will be free from offending the offense to the holy name.
This is the verse quoted from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, something which is not in our book as such. But this is for personal application for us, that if we control these 6 urges, that will help us to avoid offenses to the devotees or to the holy name. And then we can progress more easily in our devotional service. This is for our personal application.
There is a link of this and I don't understand how it is related, how this...
If we don't talk anything nonsense, then we will avoid so many offenses to the holy name. So if we don't speak, we can avoid so many offenses. And the other offenses are because of the anger. And then the mind, which is just wandering here and there, will make many offenses. If it is only engaged in Krishna Katha, there will be no offenses. And we only eat Krishna Prasad, then our consciousness will be more clear. If we eat something, food cooked by somebody else, their consciousness will influence us. And then we can do some offenses also. So all these will help us to avoid Nam Aparad. This is a verse quoted simply for our personal application, how this verse is useful for us in our practice of Krishna consciousness.
There is a question in the preface, see that, describe the steps of advancement in the spiritual life mentioned in the preface.
By controlling mind and senses. You see, it is written that in there.
Yeah, there's no steps. That's the only step. Here it said, describe the steps. So that's it. Just control mind and senses. That's it.
Control mind and senses, develop service attitude, become Goswami, follow the Goswamis, then you can understand the conjugal pastime of Krishna with gopis, and then that is the highest gift given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all this will continue. You have to go from there backward, you will get all these steps. Okay, 3 o'clock, Hare Krishna. So we have finished verse 1, text 1, okay?